Ready, set, art. All right, food and beverage. Food and beverage. This is a good chance to show how to draw the ellipse. All right, so in your workbook, you're going to see 3 pages. Practicing ellipses, pancakes, 3-tier cake, soda, cupcake, and last but not least, burger, ice cream, burger and ice cream. Let's go back to ellipses because essentially all of these items deal with the ellipse. And where does that come from, right? So when we look at cups, if you look at the top, it's a perfect circle. And as I start to tilt it, it becomes not a circle anymore. It becomes an ellipse. So it's like looking at a circle from an angle. That's the idea. And then when we look at cups this way, whatever curve is here, it's the same curve all the way down. So I'm going to show you how to draw ellipses and these different food items and then what mistakes are super common. But it's just one of those things, as you become an advanced artist, these are things that you should pay attention to, right? Okay, so let's start with the ellipse. And I am going to draw darker than normal, mostly because it's a demonstration, but normally you would not draw so dark. Okay, so ellipses kind of remind me of an egg, right? Sort of the top. And we're always good at drawing the top part, but what happens is when we get to here, it does not, like your hand has a hard time, and it ends up looking like this, where it's really kind of squished at the bottom, right? So my little trick is go ahead and do the nice curve. Get this curve in. Okay. And it's going to be sketchy and you can erase your lines later. I mean, that's how I draw. You can flip it over. Then whatever kind of curve you did here, how far you went out, needs to be the same. Okay? So see how it was easier to just turn it around? It's just easier on your hand. Your hand naturally has an easier time doing this than, say, the other way, right? So anyways, now I'm going to test out my ellipse to see if it looks good. So one of the things I like to do is to break it up in quadrants. So when you do your sketches, I need to see the quadrants. It should be in there when you take the picture. Then I look at it and think, does this look equal? Does each quadrant look equal? And if not, like it looks like it's going too far right here, then you go and correct it. All right, and then you're going to lightly erase and draw a better line, right? Okay, so it should be curved here. If you have to turn the paper, turn the paper. I know I turn the paper. It makes it so much easier. Okay, almost there. Okay, now I'm going to look at it again. It looks like it kind of straightened out right there. Artists make mistakes all the time, and we have to go back and correct it. Oh, better. Okay, so when you do this, I want you to practice it 3 times. So on your drawing, I should see 1, 2, 3, right? Just like in this example. 1, 2, 3. There's 3. I did 3 different versions of it. One more kind of like if you saw it from a very tight angle, one from a very wide angle, and then normal. So I was trying to show 3 different kinds. But essentially, you need to draw 3 ellipses. Now I want to show you the common mistakes, which I also put right here. Please don't do these, right? Okay, common mistakes. Let me show you the first one, is the eyeball, where there's corners to it. Guess what? If it starts like this and it goes like this, it will never happen. That would only happen if the cup was shaped like that to begin with. If we saw the cup like this from the top and it really looked like that, then it would look like this as we tilted it. But there's no way that it would do that. Here's the other one that I like to see. It's the rubber band, where it looks like this. Okay, again, that would only happen if the cup was shaped like a rubber band, like this. If it was like that to begin with, and then as we turned it, it would do that. If it's starting out as a circle, guess what? It will not look like that. Okay, next. My other common one is they get this one just right, yay, and then they get to here and flattens out. Flattens out. I don't know what happened, like a little whoopee cushion. Again, that would only happen if it was like this to begin with, right? So that's a no. And then my other favorite one, actually like an egg, where it looks like that. Okay, so no, 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 yes. Okay, 3 of those. Let's go to the next one. All right, so our next one is practicing that ellipse, but with pancakes. All right, so I'm going to draw big for demonstration purposes. I understand if when you turn in your drawings it looks more like this, where there's 4 on a page. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, and again, I'm drawing kind of quickly because I think you guys would get the idea. You can always pause. I'm drawing my ellipse, and then I kind of do my quadrant, and I double check it. I could even see measure. So I can see over here, it's kind of a mess. Okay, that looks good. Okay, so now to make it more like a pancake and not a crepe, right, I'm going to add 2 little dashes. 1, 2, and we know how pancakes are. They tend to round out a little bit right there, but you get the idea. So whatever curve is here, it needs to be the same curve right there. What I don't want to see is, hold on, this is what happens. It starts to straighten out. Like then every pancake after that straightens out. There's no curving as it goes down. It has to curve. All right, so then I got the first pancake. Now I'm going to draw another pancake because we're going to go for 3. Because why not? We should have 3 pancakes stacked. I'm going to draw another curve, and it's matching this curve. I want it to be the same curve, and if it's straightening out, which mine did, go back and correct it. Then you add that same little kind of rounded dash going down. Curve again. Again, it has to be the same. Whatever curve is here, it has to repeat all the way down. Okay, all the way down. All right, and then I'm going to draw another one. These are the most even pancakes ever. Maybe you have a parent that loves to make even-sized pancakes. I am not that parent at home, but you know, maybe yours is. Okay. Yeah, if you have to correct it, just go back and correct it. Okay. Curve, curve. All right. We're almost there. Be careful, because sometimes as we go down, we straighten it out. I think in our minds, because it lays, you know, it lays flat, we think, oh, it must be straight. But when we look at it from an angle, we know it's curved. We know it's curved. Okay, so now we have our basic pancakes. I'm going to draw a plate. So it's like another ellipse. See how ellipses are everywhere? Okay, so I have my little sketch here. All right. I'm going to draw on the outside part. If it goes off the page, that's fine. I don't care, as long as it's correct, right? Okay, so again, it's rounding. We want it to be rounded. All right, and I'm sketching quickly because normally if we were in class, I would tell you to have this done in 2 minutes. You would have 2 minutes to draw. The whole point is that we try to draw quickly so we don't spend so much time on a sketch when we need to spend that much more time on the final, right? Okay, so now we're at this point, and I'm ready to add the butter. So the butter, if you want to look, it's kind of like we start like this, right? And then it goes like this, right? But that's very square. We know when a butter hits a hot pancake, it's starting to melt. That means it actually kind of curves a little bit. These would be curving, okay? They would start to curve, okay? So I'm going to draw my little kind of diamond shape, but it's curving, right? Almost reminds you of a kite, the way it's done. And then like this, and I'm going to start letting it melt. See, it's starting to melt a little bit. Okay, that's okay. And because it's shiny, I'm going to add a shine mark. What is a shine mark? Hold on. Okay, so we kind of add, it looks like an exclamation point, but curved and upside down. Shine, or like a little eye. See there? There it is. Okay, so now we have that part, but we got to add the syrup. So I'm going to add these little kind of things like this, okay? And then we're going to let it kind of drip down and curve as it hits each pancake, right? That didn't curve the right way. curve and it's like getting all over the plate, right? Let it drip down, drip down. You have to know I'm drawing very fast. And when we do this in class, I normally have the whole hour to do this, the whole hour. But in a video, who's going to watch a video for a whole hour? You can just pause. You can just pause it. All right. Now syrup is shiny, so I'm going to add these little, remember those little exclamation points here and there to make it shiny. I like that song, right? Shiny. Okay. All right, and then you could add that everywhere, and you could go back and clean up till it's like to the point that I have it here. But that's a very fast sketch. All right, it is time for a cake. All right, and it's a wedding cake. So again, maybe I'll take up half the page this time. All right, so I'm going to draw a smaller ellipse. Okay. I got to double check. That looks good. It's the same curve, right? Okay, straight down. Whatever curve is here, don't straighten out. See? Looking at it now, that probably looks incorrect. Artists have to correct all the time. Okay. That's the first tier. Now I'm going to go around just like we did that plate. See how I try to repeat my steps so it all kind of goes together. All right. Okay, that looks good. Straight down. You want this to be the tallest cake ever, then make it taller. Whatever curve is here, same curve. Don't straighten it out. Okay, don't straighten out. Okay, one more tier. And by the way, it's not tier as in crying tear. It's T-I-E-R. Tier. Okay, that's good. Straight down. Another curve. See, nice big wedding cake, celebration cake. Okay, needs to be on a platter. Let's put it on a platter. And at weddings, they generally put it on a big round table for the bride and groom to come over and slice that cake, right? So we're just going to add that in, and then that goes off. And then we want to decorate this cake. So I'm going to put these little shapes. Look, it's almost like drawing a hook over and over and over and over and over. It goes around. Okay? Almost like tear shapes. And this time tear spelled as in T-E-A-R, right? Tear. That's a very, very fast sketch, and you could decorate it how you want. But essentially, I get it to the point where it's a little cleaner like that, right? You lightly erase. Okay, so now it's time for our soda. Okay, so we're going to start with their lips. Okay, that's our lips. And then I double check it, right? Looks pretty good. And this time, I'm going to kind of bring a line kind of straight down from the middle like this. And then I'm going to angle in the sides, and I try to keep it equal. And I stop about there. And whatever curve is here, it's the same curve, right? I'll show you the common mistake because I see it over and over. They'll get this part just right, and then all of a sudden right here, that looks wrong, right? That looks wrong. Okay, go back to correct. If it had a label, which we're going to draw now, the label wouldn't go straight across. That doesn't make sense. Take that out. Okay, it also curves. And I'll make this a nay soda, because why not? Okay, nay soda. And now I want to make the lid, so I'm going to kind of curve this out, just like we did the butter, right? And then the same curve going this way. Whatever curve is here is the same curve around. And then I make these little hairpins shapes going around, just like this. Okay, almost there. I'm going to add a little X there. Why? Because I'm going to add my little straw, but I'll erase the circle. Okay, so now I'm going to draw my straw. As you know, straws have that like bend, so I'm going to go bend, 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 bend. Then I kind of add that in. Straw. And then there's an ellipse at the end. These ellipses never end. Okay. All right. And then there's a little curve right there. Okay, so that's part one of food and beverage. Next I'll figure out our cupcakes, ice cream, and burger.